Hi, I'm Ron Jordan with Focus on Energy. Thanks for joining me again for another segment of building a net zero ready home. The last time we were in Jacki and Kevin's house, Jacki was telling me about all the energy efficiency components that are already in the house, and we talked a lot about insulation. Today, it's a special one. We are going to do a pre-drywall walkthrough with our energy consultant.
Hi, Joe.
Jacqueline, good to see you again.
Good to see you
right,
again.
thank
Thanks
you.
for coming out. Tell me a little bit more about the walkthrough we're going to do today.
Sure. As part of the certification for Focus on Energy, we need to do at least one pre-drywall site visit. And since we came today where it's not insulated, we'll be doing a framing site visit. We'll look at all the rough ends, whatever's here. But the main thing we need to do is, since all the energy modeling was done off a set of plans that you provided us,
Right.
we need to make sure that what's in the computer model is actually what's being built. Oftentimes, homeowners change things, maybe ceiling height, maybe some construction issues show up that require larger framing. We want to make sure that the modeling in the end absolutely matches the building. So we'll be looking at that real close.
Okay, let's get started.
All right, excellent.
Okay, so we're on the first floor. Tell me about some of the design pieces you're looking at here.
Sure, Jacqueline, in addition to confirming the building dimensions, I'll be measuring windows, measuring ceiling heights and so forth. I want to also point out that not everything we do is related to energy. It wouldn't benefit the consumer if the home was uncomfortable, yet even if it was net zero, right? So one of those details is wherever we have a fireplace on an exterior wall, a fireplace is just a piece of furniture. It's inside the house. So the wall behind the fireplace needs to be detailed exactly like the rest of the wall. And Tim O'Brien Homes had figured this out quite a while back. You can see that the wall cavities are insulated. There's a vapor retarder. They got drywall. Look at, they even micro-caulk the drywall, which would not be plastered by the finisher later on. It's even air sealed on the top. This prevents callbacks from the consumer from comfort complaints on a fireplace in the winter when it's cool, when they're actually expecting it to feel quite warm.
Can you tell me a little bit about the framing?
Oh, sure. Well, on some of the framing on the building, we have 2x6, probably for structural support. And then there is some 2x4 occasionally spread it out, and especially on the second floor. So I will have to go back and correct the model because everything I was given initially showed the whole building at 2x4. So all of those details that we correct on site will give us a more accurate projection of what the building will look like when it's all said and done.
Okay, so we're in the basement. As part of the walkthrough, what do you look at down here?
In addition to checking the normal dimensions, as I mentioned prior, I would also like to look at the interior insulation on the foundation. Typically, we see the insulation on the outside. On the drawing, it's clearly marked that they were using it on the inside for very good reasons. And I wanted to take a look at that. Also, normally in the basement, we'd be looking at mechanical systems if we were here at a later date. Obviously, it's all in a pile, so there's not too much to look at there. But since we do have a rough-in for future plumbing and that, we would be looking at that to make sure that that's sealed off. We'd be looking at best practices for sealed sump crock. I do see that. And I would confirm any mechanical equipment that happen to be here at this time.
Aha, that makes sense.
All right, we'll go upstairs then. Take a look.
Okay, so we made it upstairs. What are the things you're looking at during the walkthrough up here?
Excellent. Well, on the plans, it showed a double framed wall here on the second floor to bring up a central return to the second floor. Anytime we have either architectural features that change the framing or a double wall like this, first thing we do is look at the top to make sure that this interior air between the two walls that's going to be covered by drywall does not have a free pass right into the attic, or for cold attic air in the wintertime to literally fall right inside the house. Another neat detail right here is the ladder type framing that they use on the exterior walls where the interior wall abuts it. They used to frame with two pieces of wood in there, but with the ladder framing, as they called it, allows the insulator to put the insulation fully behind the framing to isolate that interior wall.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah. So they do some real good framing here. They've been around a long time, but these are important details. All the air leakage in the world is most important on the top of the building, and this would be a major item. Also, because we're on the second floor where your bathrooms are, we would normally be looking at the bathroom exhaust fans, the ductwork, and so forth.
That's right,
just to point out, make sure that everything looks good. They're not in yet and finished, so we can't do that. But I did verify all the windows, the surface areas, and all that, so I'm good to go.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming out today.
All right, thanks, Jack. We'll see you next time.
During the walkthrough today, Mike from Tim O'Brien Homes stopped by. He's going to talk to Jackie about how Tim O'Brien Homes works with Focus on Energy to make sure the homes that they build are energy efficient for the homeowners.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for coming out today.
Good to be here.
Good to see you again.
Likewise.
Things are looking really good in here. I'm really excited about the net zero home that we're building. One of the questions I have for you is just the design side from Tim O'Brien. Like, what has Tim O'Brien thought about in this space of the design of the house that is energy efficient?
For sure. So we try to look at all of the details. We focus on the house as a system. So like we can't just focus on insulation. We can't just focus on windows. We can't just focus on mechanical systems. It all starts in the design. So we're trying to be mindful of design and put those elements into the home instead of have it be an afterthought. So we're trying to stop that uncontrolled air movement between the conditioned space in the attic, for example, or a wall to the outside, or a penetration into the wall that would create an uncomfortable home. So air sealing is also important.
Some of my friends have been asking me, you know, we're building an energy efficient house, we're looking at insulation, the air sealing, as you mentioned, isn't it going to get stuffy in here? And I told them no, but there's a clear reason for that.
Yeah, well, we're building really tight homes, and so they're called ACHs, air changes per hour. So we partner with a third party who does performance testing, and it's called a blower door test. And so we're looking for really low ACHs, about 1 or less. And so, you know, that needs a certain level of mechanical ventilation, because if we didn't have that, it would be a home that's
right, air's not moving.
Air is not moving, and that's intentional that air is not moving because it's that uncontrolled air movement.
Right.
But we need to be really mindful of indoor air quality and health and safety. And so that's why in every one of our homes we have ERVs, energy recovery ventilators.
Yep, that's right.
So,
that's the acronym.
Yeah. So the ERVs are set based upon the size of the home and the performance testing to have that fresh ventilated air on a regular basis, and it pulls that air from the outside. It runs it through a heat exchanger, it filters it,
Right.
and then that air is then forced back into the home. That fresh air is forced back into the home, and it picks up the heat through the heat exchanger, which is another efficiency measure.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about some of the energy efficiency design components that Tim O'Brien has thought about here in the basement.
So on this home, we're doing 2 inches of rigid foam board on the foundation here. So you can see we still need to complete this. We have this done, you know, and on this corner, we'll continue this through. So we have 2 inches of rigid foam board on the foundation, and we have it affixed with these anchors, and we'll also tape the seams.
Awesome.
We also have here, with this half wall, we have sill sealer below the double bottom plate for air sealing. And so air sealing, you can see we've started some of the air sealing.
Oh.
Here's the foam that we use, and that will be throughout. So, you know, anytime where you see daylight, it will be entirely air sealed. Another thing I wish to point out is these transom windows. They'll be air sealed throughout with foam along the entire perimeter to stop that uncontrolled air movement.
I mean, there's just so much. It makes me feel like, besides being energy efficient, it feels like I'm going to be really comfortable.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the goal. You know, we're trying to
Awesome.
do it as economical as possible
Yeah.
and look at those areas that are really going to make a difference.
Okay, so tell me what's so important about the corners of the wall.
So you can see here, there's space here in this corner to get insulation behind it versus overbuilding the corner and having a substantial area for that hot air in the wintertime to drive towards and create what we call a cold corner.
Okay, so there are 2 things that I've cared most about in this house. The first one is energy efficiency, and the second one is windows. Tell me about the windows.
Sure. The windows are from Lindsay, a reputable manufacturer. They're 0.27, and so that's the U value. And so that's significantly below code, below being better. So the lower the U value, the more efficient the window. So code is a 0.35, These are 0.27s.
Aha.
So-
And U value, if I remember, tells me how well the window is holding hot or cold.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah,
Oh,
depending
that's
upon season. Yep, you got it.
Awesome.
Yep. And then another interesting thing about these windows, so there's single hungs. And so single hung windows leak less. So from an air sealing perspective, they're much more efficient. There's less air that's escaping versus a double hung window. They're more expensive and they also leak more. So it's a significant benefit of a single hung window.
Yeah.
So these are pretty nice windows.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
really happy with them.
Yep.
Okay, we were just talking about windows, and I know there's something else very important going on here.
Sure. Yeah, it's actually what you can't see. So this looks like a solid header above the window, but it's not. There's actually a rigid foam board on the other side of this header as a thermal break. And so thermal bridging is that loss of heat from the home to the cold through the wood. And so that thermal break with the rigid foam board is vitally important. Just another detail that we think through to get you the efficient home that you're looking for.
Awesome. Love it.
There is still a lot more work to go on Jacki and Kevin's net zero ready home. Coming up in the next few episodes, we will talk about energy recovery ventilation and how it keeps the inside air fresh while helping eliminate energy waste. We will look at the insulation and air sealing, plus talk with the solar panel experts about their plans for the final piece of the net zero home puzzle. And we can't forget about home appliances and Energy Star. Don't forget to subscribe to this playlist and channel.